Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Vegan Alternative. All right, so you're a vegan and you've probably heard the same old question a million times. But where do you get your protein from? As if you're all just nibbling on blades of grass and praying for the best. But surprise, surprise, vegans need and get protein too. Who would have thunk it? Also, you don't have to resort to raiding the local dairy farm to get your protein fix. Your protein needs aren't that different from the carnivores among you. Can you believe it? In fact, there are plenty of protein sources for vegans to choose from. So, let's strap on our protein helmets and venture into the wondrous world of plant-based protein before we get interrogated about our muscle fuel supply again. Undoubtedly, protein is the unsung hero of our body. It's the building block for all of our cells and crucial for maintaining a healthy body. However, new research shows that the recommended daily amount of protein may be higher than we previously thought. As a general rule, the recommended dietary allowance, or RDA, for protein is 0.37 grams per pound of body weight, and that's just for basic survival. However, for vegans, that recommendation drops to close to 10% of calories coming from protein. So, let's do some math, shall we? If you're a vegan male weighing 174 pounds, with a calorie requirement of 2,600 calories, your protein needs are calculated as 174 pounds times 0.41 grams per pound, equaling 71 grams of protein. That means you need to get 284 calories from protein. And if we look at what vegans are typically eating, we find that between 10 to 12% of their calories come from protein. Now, if you're exercising, dieting, or getting up there in age, you might need even more protein. In fact, one study found that those who ate just the RDA of protein had alarming bone losses compared to those who ate more than the RDA. That's right, people who skimped on protein lost a whopping 4% of bone mass in just 4 years. Meanwhile, those who ate the most protein, about 20% of calories, only lost less than 1.5% in the same amount of time. So, you don't need to worry too much about it. As Kathleen Tucker, an associate professor of nutritional epidemiology at Tufts University, points out, when you're young, protein helps build bones, and as you age, it helps keep them from deteriorating. Keeping your bones strong is a lifelong pursuit, and protein can play a crucial role in that endeavor. But if you are looking to shed those pesky pounds, it's time to start chowing down on some protein. A recent study has found that a protein-rich diet is essential for weight loss, helping to burn fat while keeping precious muscle intact. And let's face it, who doesn't want to maintain their muscle mass? Losing muscle not only makes us weaker, but it also slows down our resting metabolic rate, making it harder to keep off the weight in the long run. So, unless you're ready to say goodbye to those gains and hello to a sluggish metabolism, it's time to up your protein game. For athletes, however, it's a little different. According to a 2009 joint position paper by the American College of Sports Medicine, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and the Dietitians of Canada, if you want to keep up with the non-vegan, non-athletes out there, you better start upping your protein game. Endurance athletes, get ready to consume 1.2 to 1.4 grams per kilogram a day of protein. In strength athletes, you'll need 1.2 to 1.7 grams per kilogram a day. And for you plant-based pals, add on an extra 10% because plant proteins are not as easily digested as animal proteins. But don't worry, vegan folks, because the myth that plant sources are insufficient to meet protein requirements has been busted. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics confirms that a well-planned vegan or vegetarian diet can provide all the necessary nutrients for a vegan athlete. So, load up on lentils, chickpeas, black beans, tofu, tempeh, nuts, seeds, quinoa, edamame, nutritional yeast, seitan, and all those green veggies that Popeye loves. These food options provide not only the necessary protein, but also other essential nutrients that our body needs to stay healthy. And if you still can't meet your protein requirements, don't sweat it. Just grab a versatile supplement option, such as protein powder, mix it with your vegan smoothie, yogurt, oatmeal, or even your spaghetti sauce, and voila! you're good to go. The most commonly recommended types of protein powders are pea protein powder, rice protein powder, soy protein powder, hemp protein powder, and nut protein powder. But beware of added sugars and artificial ingredients, and always consult with a healthcare professional or a registered dietitian before taking any supplements. Enjoying the video so far? Then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more helpful videos. You'll only get smarter, and it's free. Just because you have ditched animal products doesn't mean you're off the hook when it comes to protein. There are a few common mistakes that even the most seasoned plant-based eaters can make when it comes to meeting their protein needs. First up, make sure you are not getting stuck in a protein rut. Don't just rely on one or two sources of protein, but mix it up with a variety of grains, nuts, seeds, veggies, and legumes. Your taste buds and your muscles will thank you for the variety. And don't assume that just because you are a vegan, you're automatically getting enough protein. You have to keep track of that protein intake. Use an app, write it down, and do whatever you need to do to make sure you are meeting those daily requirements. Another pitfall to watch out for is the over-reliance on processed vegan foods. Sure, it's great that there is so much meat and dairy alternatives out there, but be careful not to rely solely on them for your protein needs. They're often highly processed and may not provide the same quality of protein as whole plant foods. And speaking of quality, don't go for those cheap protein powders that promise you the moon and the stars. The manufacturing process is extensive and costly, and if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Oh, and don't forget about absorption. The way your body absorbs protein from plant sources can be different from animal sources. For example, combining certain plant-based protein sources, such as beans and rice, can actually improve your protein absorption, so be sure to plan your meals accordingly, savvy vegan friends. Last but not least, don't forget to factor in your protein needs for physical activity. If you're an active vegan, you may need more protein to support muscle growth and repair. So make sure you are adjusting your protein intake to reflect your activity level. Summarizing our discussion today, as a vegan, you can get all the necessary protein that your body requires from plant-based sources. The recommended dietary allowance for protein is 0.37 grams per pound of body weight, and that's just for basic survival. However, for vegans, that recommendation drops to close to 10% of calories coming from protein. But if you are dieting or getting up there in age, you might need even more protein. Athletes require more protein as well. Endurance athletes need to consume 1.2 to 1.4 grams per kilogram a day of protein, and strength athletes need between 1.2 and 1.7 grams per kilogram a day. Vegan athletes should add an extra 10% because plant proteins are not as easily digested as animal proteins. To meet your daily protein requirements, you have a variety of options to consider. However, the most easily available protein sources for vegans include lentils, chickpeas, black beans, tofu, tempeh, nuts, seeds, quinoa, edamame, nutritional yeast, and seitan. Plant-based protein powder is also a good supplement option, but remember, never compromise their quality. Also, if you're working on fulfilling your protein requirements, avoid over-reliance on processed vegan foods. Add a variety of protein food options, and don't forget to work on your nutritional absorption, because food you take will be helpful only if it is adequately absorbed in your system. That's all for today. Are you feeling the vegan vibes yet? Don't keep it to yourself. Spread the word and inspire others to join the plant-based party. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out our other amazing videos. Thanks for hanging with us today, and stay tuned for more excitement to come.